ancient Egypt, the Hebrew people endured years of brutal slavery under the oppressive rule of Pharaoh. Fearing their growing numbers, Pharaoh issued a merciless decree. Every newborn Hebrew boy was to be cast into the Nile. Amid this terror, one mother took a desperate risk to save her infant son. She concealed him for as long as possible, then placed him in a woven basket and set him afloat on the river's currents. By chance, Pharaoh's daughter discovered the child and, moved by compassion, chose to adopt him. Moses was raised within the grandeur of the royal palace, unaware of the remarkable path that lay ahead. This unlikely beginning would shape the destiny of a leader who would one day change history. Moses grew up surrounded by the grandeur and luxury of Pharaoh's palace, enjoying privileges reserved for royalty. He received the finest education, learning the arts, sciences, and traditions of Egypt, and was treated as a member of the royal family. Yet, beyond the palace walls, the Hebrew slaves toiled under harsh conditions, their suffering a stark contrast to his own comfort. As Moses witnessed their pain, a sense of compassion began to stir within him. The disparity between his life and theirs created an inner conflict, prompting him to question his identity and the injustices he observed. These glimpses of hardship planted seeds of empathy and doubt, shaping the course of his destiny. One day, Moses witnessed a brutal scene, an Egyptian overseer mercilessly beating a Hebrew slave. Overcome by anger and a sense of justice, Moses acted on impulse, striking down the overseer in a desperate attempt to protect his fellow Hebrew. The gravity of his actions quickly became clear as word of the incident spread, and Moses found himself in grave danger. Fearing for his life, he was forced to abandon everything he knew and escape Egypt. His journey led him across the harsh, unforgiving desert, each step taking him further from his past and deeper into uncertainty. This pivotal moment marked the beginning of a profound transformation in Moses' life. After fleeing Egypt, Moses arrives in the land of Midian, a stark contrast to the world he left behind. Here, he encounters Jethro's daughters at a well, stepping in to help them when they are harassed by local shepherds. Impressed by his kindness, Jethro welcomes Moses into his family, and Moses soon marries Zipporah, one of Jethro's daughters. Embracing a new role as a shepherd, Moses finds solace and purpose in tending flocks across the serene desert. The vast, quiet landscapes offer him a sense of peace and reflection, far removed from the turmoil of his past. In Midian, Moses begins to rebuild his life, surrounded by the gentle rhythms of nature and the warmth of his new family. In the stillness of the desert, Moses is drawn to a mysterious sight. A bush ablaze with fire, yet untouched by the flames. As he approaches, a voice calls out from within the fire, commanding his attention and reverence. The presence is overwhelming, and Moses instinctively covers his face, gripped by awe and uncertainty. God reveals a sacred purpose. Moses is chosen to lead the Israelites out of bondage. Fear and doubt fill Moses' heart as he questions his worthiness and ability to fulfill such a daunting task. Yet reassured by the promise of divine guidance, Moses finds the courage to accept his calling. In this profound encounter, the course of history is forever changed. After years apart, Moses is reunited with his brother Aaron in a moment filled with deep emotion and relief. Together, they draw strength from their shared purpose and the promise of freedom for their people. With unwavering conviction, Moses and Aaron approach Pharaoh, boldly demanding the release of the Israelites from bondage. Their words carry the weight of generations longing for deliverance. Despite Pharaoh's formidable power and initial resistance, Moses and Aaron remain steadfast, undeterred by threats or doubt. Their courage and unity set the stage for a dramatic struggle that will shape the destiny of an entire nation. The 10 plagues descended upon Egypt with relentless force, each one more devastating than the last. Waters turned to blood, rendering the Nile undrinkable. Frogs swarmed homes and streets, followed by gnats and flies that tormented the land. Livestock perished, and boils afflicted the people, leaving them in agony. hailstorms destroyed crops, while locusts swept in to consume what little remained. Darkness enveloped Egypt, plunging the nation into fear and uncertainty. Finally, tragedy struck as the firstborn in every Egyptian household perished overnight. Overwhelmed by grief and desperation, Pharaoh commanded the Israelites to leave, ending their long captivity. As the Israelites reached the shores of the Red Sea, their escape seemed impossible with the Egyptian army closing in behind them. In a moment of faith and leadership, Moses raised his staff, and the waters of the sea parted, forming towering walls on either side. The Israelites hurried across the exposed seabed, moving swiftly along the dry ground to safety. Behind them, the Egyptians pursued, but as the last Israelite stepped onto the far shore, the waters surged back, engulfing the chariots and soldiers. The miraculous crossing marked a turning point, freeing the Israelites from their oppressors and demonstrating the power of faith and deliverance. The triumph was complete as the people looked back, witnessing the sea restored and their path to freedom secured. Moses climbs the rugged slopes of Mount Sinai, surrounded by thunder and fire that signal the presence of the divine. At the summit, he stands before God, who entrusts him with the 10 Commandments, carved onto stone tablets. These commandments represent the foundation of a sacred covenant between God and his people. As Moses descends the mountain, his face shines with a radiant glow, reflecting the profound encounter he has experienced. The people witness this transformation, recognizing the significance of the laws and the renewed relationship with God. The moment marks a pivotal chapter in the journey of faith and obedience for the Israelites. As Moses communes with God atop Mount Sinai, the Israelites below grow restless and impatient. In a moment of weakness, they gather their gold and forge a calf, bowing before it in worship, betraying the covenant they had just accepted. When Moses descends and witnesses this act of idolatry, his anger is overwhelming. In a dramatic gesture, he smashes the stone tablets inscribed with the commandments, symbolizing the broken relationship between the people and their God. The confrontation that follows is charged with emotion, as Moses rebukes the Israelites for their faithlessness and pleads for their repentance. The gravity of their actions hangs heavy, marking a turning point in their journey and their understanding of obedience and forgiveness. As the Israelites journeyed through the wilderness, the construction of the tabernacle became a central focus, symbolizing the presence of God among his people. Skilled artisans worked together, following detailed instructions to build this sacred dwelling. Throughout their travels, the Israelites were guided by miraculous signs, a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night, assuring them of divine protection and direction. Moses, their leader, faced numerous challenges, including moments of rebellion and doubt within the community. Despite these trials, he remained steadfast, interceding for the people and trusting in God's provision. Time and again, the Israelites witnessed acts of divine care, from manna appearing each morning to water flowing from unexpected sources, reinforcing their faith during uncertain times. As the Israelites journeyed through the wilderness, their thirst and complaints grew louder. Moses, weary from their constant grumbling, approached a rock as instructed by God. In a moment of frustration, he struck the rock with his staff, and water gushed forth, quenching the people's thirst. However, this act was not as God had commanded, for Moses had been told to speak to the rock instead. Because of his disobedience and lack of trust, God informed Moses that he would not lead the people into the promised land. This moment marked a turning point, highlighting the importance of faith and obedience even for the greatest leaders. Standing atop Mount Nebo, Moses gazes out over the vast expanse of the promised land, his heart filled with both gratitude and fulfillment. He offers his final blessing to the people, words imbued with hope and faith for their journey ahead. As the golden light bathes the landscape, Moses accepts his fate with quiet serenity, knowing his mission is complete. In this tranquil moment, he finds peace, and God gently lays him to rest, hidden from mortal eyes. The soft glow of the setting sun marks the end of his earthly journey, leaving behind a legacy of unwavering leadership and devotion. As the sun dips below the horizon, the promised land stretches out in golden hues, a vision of hope and fulfillment. In the quiet desert, Moses' staff stands alone, a silent testament to a journey defined by unwavering faith and steadfast purpose. Throughout his life, Moses led with courage, guiding his people through trials and triumphs, never losing sight of the promise before them. His legacy endures in every step taken toward freedom and in every heart inspired by his devotion. Though his journey ends here, the story of Moses continues, echoing through generations as a beacon of strength and belief.